Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for the Amazing Spider-Man, the long-awaited reboot of the Spider-Man movie series. And you know what, I could go on forever how I was really looking forward to this. Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes of all time, blah blah blah. But you know what, let's get straight into this review because I want to talk about this movie because I couldn't wait to see it, and I saw it. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the story for The Amazing Spider-Man follows Peter Parker, of course, who is a loner in high school. He's not really a nerd, but he mostly stays away from people, doesn't really have many friends. He's shy to people, but he's not really a nerd, if that makes sense. But, in high school, whatever, he doesn't really make all that many friends. And he lives with his uncle and his aunt. Of course, the reason why is because when he was a kid, his parents decided to ditch him. Not really ditch him like, oh, screw you, we don't want you anymore. More like ditch him to protect him in some way. I mean, you don't know what, because in the beginning of the film it shows them pretty much leaving him as a little kid with his uncle and his aunt, but you don't know why, so he really wants to know why. And while he was going into the the basement of his aunt and uncle's house, he finds this bag that belonged to his dad, and he looked through it and he finds a picture of another guy that used to work with him called Curt Connors, who was a scientist, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to go to this place called Oscorp where he works, and I'm going to go ask him about my dad. He goes there and he meets up with a girl that he really likes named Gwen Stacy, played by Emma Stone. And while he's there, he's just snooping around, whatever, and he snoops into a place where there's a bunch of spiders. You can see where this is going. There's a bunch of spiders just hanging out, literally just hanging. And he just, I don't know why he does this. He just like starts touching things, and then things go bad. Spiders start falling on him, and he gets out of there with no spiders on him. But guess what? There was one spider that got on him. And while he's talking to Gwen Stacy, boom, spider bites him. And of course, you pretty much see where this is going. He becomes Spider-Man, like almost instantly. I mean, he sleeps on a subway. He gets up and he starts flipping around, beating people up on a subway on mistake, really. It looked like a Jackie Chan scene where he beats people up on mistake. And that's really the story. I mean, that's where the story takes off, really. I mean, later on, of course, he meets up with this guy, Curt Connors, and if you saw the trailer, you know what happens. He injects himself with something that can regrow limbs because he lost one of his arms, and he turns into the Lizard, and now Spider-Man has to go and fight off the Lizard. So, there you go. There's a story. It's an origin story, and then it's the beat up bad guy story. So you've seen this in Spider-Man 1, except of course they switched some things around. This time his girlfriend is Gwen Stacy, not Mary Jane. Some little things are different, of course, like the villain, and some other things like Gwen Stacy's dad becomes a big part of the story later on. And really, that's the story, and I gotta admit, I really love the story here. Sure, it's not the most original story, it really isn't, and there are parts here and there that get on my nerves. Like, there'll be times where Peter Parker just slouches around and listens to music, but he's not listening to music, there's music going on in the background, he's like skateboarding or something, and parts like that I don't really like, but for the most part, the script is really well told. It's very funny, very witty at times. It's very emotional too, and the characters are just really likable, and mostly because of the acting. The acting is really damn good in this film. This time, Peter Parker is played by Andrew Garfield from The Social Network and a couple other movies, and he does a really great job in this film. First of all, he feels like a teenager, which I never thought Tobey Maguire felt like it, in my opinion. Here he does feel like one, and he has a lot of emotion, and he's very funny, he's very shy at times. He feels like a Peter Parker, he does. He feels like what I think Peter Parker should be, and he does a great job here, he really does. I really like him as Peter Parker / Spider-Man. I have Emma Stone in the film, who plays Gwen Stacy, and she does a really good job in this film. I really liked her. First of all, she's a much better love interest than freaking Mary Jane was in the first 3 movies, where I just did not like her. I really did not. I hated her, and I didn't like Kirsten Dunst in those original films. I really didn't like her at all. And here I just like Gwen Stacy as the main girl, and she does a great job. She's funny at times, she's really supportive, and I really like that. Dennis Leary, who plays Gwen Stacy's dad, and he's a very he's a cop, but he's like, oh, I'm gonna go after that Spider-Man dude. He's mine, and he's very commanding, he's very in charge, and I don't know, he just played that so well that I was like, okay, bro, I'll do whatever you say, man. Just calm down, alright? And he's really good in the film. I really liked him. And he has his fair share of funny moments, too. So, he just did a really good job. You also have Rhys Ifans, who plays Curt Connors, the Lizard. And he's really interesting because he's not just ooh, I'm the maniacal villain. I'm evil because I don't know, just evil. You know, he's not like that. He's evil because he has no choice, because he puts the serum in his arm and he just goes insane. And I really like that. Really like how Rhys Ifans plays that. He does a great job. Martin Sheen, who plays Ben Parker, the uncle, does a great job as well for the time he's there. It gets pretty emotional with his character too, I'll admit. And also Sally Fields as May Parker. She does a great job as well. So acting-wise, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Get to the home stretch, the action and the special effects. And let me say this, okay? The action isn't like constant. It's not like the Avengers where the last 30-40 minutes is just everybody just whipping ass and stuff, and there's no real huge special effects. There's no freaking 5 million dudes hanging out and freaking Thor's whipping their asses or anything. It's none of that, but it's more condensed. It's smaller, even though it has pretty much the same exact budget as the Avengers. It's smaller, it's more condensed, it's more personal in a way, and I really enjoyed that with the action. You know, the choreography with Spider-Man is great. The special effects for the most part are really good, especially with the Lizard. He really looks damn cool when you get to see close-ups of him, which you constantly see, which is good because that means they obviously knew they did a good job with the Lizard special effect. He looks really damn cool. He really does. The scenes where, you know, Peter Parker's first finding out that he has these powers, like the part where I talked about, you know, him on the subway and beating up people on mistake, pretty much. It looked like a Jackie Chan movie, like I said before, but it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that, and I just really enjoyed the action, even though there wasn't like tons of it, like I said, the Avengers, or even other movies like Captain America or whatever. You know, it still was a lot of fun to watch, and the story kept me interested, and the characters were great, and the voice acting. I think I'm talking about the game now. No, the acting was great, and it's just a very well-told movie, and I loved it. I really did, and I enjoyed this actually a little bit more than I did the first one. Maybe not the second one, but the first one definitely. So overall, I'm going to give The Amazing Spider-Man, I'm going to give it a 36 out of 40, or a 9 out of 10 if you just want a regular 0 to 10 score, but that's boring. Come on. Anyway, there you go. There's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait for the sequel, and I can't wait for Batman. I'm just going to say, I can't wait for Batman, but this was definitely a great holdover until Batman comes out. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you, and goodbye.